Yeah, but kind of
Yeah.
impressive. I'm not even that.
Oh, yeah. Well, have you seen that meme where it's like, if your ass looks like that, then you have a fucking dope-ass beard? Like, anybody who has that hairy of an ass has, like, a killer beard. Or at least you can grow a really good one.
That's the give and take, huh?
Yeah.
Every time you see that, you just look at the dude like, I think I know what you look like naked, bro.
Oh, God, dude.
It's not pretty.
Yeah, not pretty at all.
Your lady does stay warm in the winter, though.
Oh, God. To each their own, but I cannot imagine being attracted to that. You know? God. I just can't.
Come on, ladies. It's hot, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, yeah.
So we got us. You see the numbers, right? If it goes to 0 or just... You can tell, I think. All right. We ready to kick this bitch off?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Here we go. All right. God damn it.
You get in my zone, man.
Dude, I was so
Don't let me get in my zone.
Yeah, me too.
What's up, everybody? This is Pete.
And Paul.
And Joe, I guess. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
I thought we agreed. Okay. And this is Beers and Shit. If you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. We have today our very special guest, Joe Dragich.
What's up?
What's up, dog?
How you doing?
Hey.
Happy to be here, guys.
All right, let's kick this bitch off, right? This is Beers
Oh, yeah.
and Shit.
How could
Thank
I
you for
forget?
being here today,
Yeah. I want to give a special shout to the videographer hanging out with us today, too, man. You're doing a great job.
Our
over
very
there.
own bass player, Cole Clark.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Great guy.
Man, at this point, I think fucking up the intro is just gonna be part of the show.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
I love it.
It might be part of the thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, we can't get that part right.
Yeah, I mean, the awkward silence maybe. I'm Joe. I'm like, hey, I'm here too. It's another,
I'm here too.
What's up?
I'm Joe.
Apparently, I was supposed to say that. Supposed to say all
Yeah,
the
they
stuff
didn't.
I have written down over
Oh
here.
my
We
goodness,
had-
yeah. Well, no.
Yeah,
That was epic. That was epic. Oh, God.
Epic.
Okay, rum. Yeah. Not as good as I remembered it being, but it's still easy. Still.
Chocolate, right? Remember?
No, well, the chocolate is good, but that was the fucking.
berries.
That was the
or
berry, the
whatever.
dragonberry with the remnants of the chocolate
That
and the
almost
other stuff.
tasted like chocolate.
Yeah, there was a little tiny bit of the chocolate. at
Is
the
that what
bottom
it
of
was?
the glass.
Chocolate
Yeah.
strawberry.
Chocolate dragonberry. It was.
Hey.
Okay.
Still making shots over here. The bartender never dies.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Yeah, dude.
The bartender leaves the bar, but I don't know. However that goes.
Whatever, the bar doesn't leave the bartender. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So taking it from today, right now, Joe, what's going on? You're teaching lessons. I'm one of your students.
Yeah.
And he is amazing. This one lesson we've
Thank you,
had,
man.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even catch up to the next week because it just kind of blew my mind
Yeah.
with the expansion of how you view playing your guitar. You know,
A lot of information to absorb from that. Yeah, I feel like it kind of goes that way when especially when like you're first starting out. You know, it's like because you don't have as much of an understanding of the whole thing. You know, and so
just
like
put what
at
pieces
first
you
it's like
can
the epiphany level is like here. You're like whoa, and then like you understand a little bit more. So the next epiphany is like whoa, and then the next one's like. Wow. You know, like it just kind of like, yeah, it just kind of works.
0.0001% each day.
Yeah.
You know.
the first download is like a huge chunk though. Like you're just like, geez.
Yeah,
whoa.
it really is. But once you start getting that shit in your brain and under your fingers and all that, then it all gets exponentially easier to wrap your head around it,
Yeah,
which
just
makes the
little by
epiphany, smaller
yeah.
or whatever, right?
And you do.
To answer your question, sorry to interject here. I do guitar lessons and bass guitar lessons for that matter. I have my my setup services, so I've set up guitars and basses as well, restringing, I can do some minor repairs, things like that. I do ghostwriting for people.
Also set up my guitar. And
He needs to set up the Les Pablo.
Yeah, man.
Les Paul.
Definitely. The Les Paul.
Yeah.
The Les Pablo.
Yeah, I kind of do whatever. I have various avenues of revenue, that come, because you have to. Like, if you want to survive on music alone, like I do now, thankfully, I can't. I mean, I could just teach lessons, but that only is one part of the market, you know? So, like, I expanded to doing the setups. I expanded to doing bass guitar lessons. You know, I'll do guest features. I'll write music for people. You know, just, again, wherever I can kind of poke and prod, you know.
I just kind of mining your craft. Because you have to. Like you said, you can't just you can't put all the eggs in one basket.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to something like lessons, it's... people are, people can be inconsistent, you know what I mean? And it's, you know, that's just the way it is, you know? I mean, people are, you know, I mostly teach adults. I'm open to teaching children. I have already, but most of the people are adults, and it's like they have lives, you know? They have, you know, their bullshit that arises. They have their jobs. They have, you know, their things that they have to take care of, responsibilities. So, you know, the fact that I've had consistent students long enough and enough of them to stay afloat on that, and I mean it's incredible. Honestly, dude, I'm so
that's the goal.
I'm grateful
And we don't
for that.
just do in person. Like we do our lessons in person, but he does also offer digital lessons. So
yeah, I do online.
If you guys are watching this from the middle of Africa.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know, half of my students are from Seattle. Actually, I have 4 dudes that are all friends from Seattle. 3 of them still live up there, and the other one recently moved to Houston.
Are they all in a band, or?
No, they're just all friends that
playing.
Well, I mean, it goes to show you the power of word of mouth. You know what I mean? It's just, dude, like this guy, you know, he does a really good job. He's cool, whatever. Like you should try, you know. And you know, they're even one of them even bought the first lesson for their friend Trevor, who moved down to Houston.
That's a cool gift.
You know, like here's one lesson with you know,
holiday season's around the corner. I'm just saying, it's right here.
It's so funny. I did this thing. Thank you for that, by the way. I did this thing so that they.
It's a very creative gift.
The student asked me. He was his name's Fred. I love this guy. He was like, dude, can you do like a super like gay pose or something? And so like I laid across my bed like this or whatever, you know. And I took a picture of myself.
That shirt is hot enough as it is.
And so that picture of me. You know, Fred wrote like the words on there. You know, like this is a voucher for like one lesson with Joe. You know, whatever.
For his buddy.
Yeah, and he sent it to his buddy. You know, so it's like, yeah, you're about to, and I'm the guy you're gonna do lessons with.
There
you know what
go.
I mean? It's like, it was so fucking funny, dude.
I'd rather
Fred.
take that than the metal elitist dude, like the giant spike bracelets.
Oh yeah,
God.
like a super brooding pose. Like you know, I loved it. I thought it was a great idea and a great gift. And now he's a regular student of mine, you know. So that $50 that he spent is putting money into my pocket and keeping me afloat.
Just a little chip at it, man. You
No
gotta
doubt.
definitely expand.
Little by little,
and
dude.
you get to share the craft, and you know, I've always noticed you kind of get to take a little bit back yourself whenever you're teaching things to people, even if it's the same thing you've been doing over and over again. It kind of
Dude, you have no
re-cements
idea.
it, and even gives you kind of new ideas. Sometimes all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, you know.
If you only knew how correct that all was, what you just said, man. I mean,
you're
it's
just
like you're
your own
teaching your
foundation in.
student and yourself a little bit.
well, there've actually been studies done, and I can't name them, unfortunately. Sorry, YouTube or whoever's watching this. You know, but like they've done studies on how your retention of information when it's being taught to you, compared to your retention of information that you teach to someone, is no comparison. When you teach something, you retain it at like 10 times or 5 times the level as you do. You know, so if you only retained about 30% of what someone taught to you, you'd retain somewhere in the order of 80 to 90% easily of what you've taught to somebody.
Like
it's a weird
solidifying
thing
within yourself when you teach.
Well, that's the thing.
Absolutely,
I had
to someone else and yourself. It's
I think
great.
I maybe told that to you possibly in the lesson that we did recently, where it's like you get yourself to the point where you have to figure this shit out and simplify it in your own mind to put it to a point where you understand it so thoroughly that you feel confident enough to simply explain it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I broke it down, all these musical concepts in my head, and then now I'm able to say, okay, well, this is what made sense to me. Yeah, and that's really what I think it takes, honestly.
It's like when you read something out loud to yourself, they tell you that you can remember that paragraph or what it has to tell you, as opposed to just kind of reading it through in your head.
That's exactly what it is, man. I mean, same thing with writing things down. If if you take notes on something while it's being said to you, you're making more than one direct neural connection, aren't you? You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing the words being written on a page, and you're hearing them.
Some real serious science.
It is, yeah, not claiming to be, on that level, but, I mean, whatever, you get it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of different things that I do, and I'm not made of money, so anybody out there, man, every little bit helps, dude. I mean, even the setups, it's unbelievable how much just getting a few setups, in a month, $50, $60 at a time, helps pays my rent.
I bet.
You know what I mean?
You get it rolling, So everyone watching this video,
Right.
if you know someone who needs guitar lessons, or you yourself want to step up your own game, got a lot of musician subscribers. Man, you ain't gotta tell nobody, you ain't gonna put you on blast, but hey, it definitely opened my eyes a bit and helped me talk to my bassist a little easier. He's behind the scenes.
I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you.
No, yeah. Something I wanted to talk about with you is, you've been in a couple of big bands. I think we're listening to one now, Shaping the Legacy.
Yeah, Shaping the Legacy. Yeah, it's my baby.
So let's
Really?
tear into what beers and shit is. You guys have probably had some beers and shit on the road, right?
Oh yeah, you betcha.
So you gotta give us one, man. Give me like your best funny story on the road. There has to be beer involved. And give me a good one, man. I want to hear some.
God.
I want to hear some
Dude.
borderline tragedy stuff.
So I absolutely love this question. Oh my god, dude! I could go in. See, I'm confused as to what I should say because I could tell a really short story or a really long one. I don't know.
If it's got the punchline, let's get the long one, man.
Oh, it's more. See, that one doesn't have so much of a punchline as it's just crazy. It's just, it's like the worst and best
crazy.
story at once. All right, I'm just gonna do it. Okay.
Do it.
All right.
Jump in.
So, this band we're able to hear here. This is my band, Shaping the Legacy. We're not doing anything anymore. Who knows if we'll start doing more things in the future. I know that I will be working with the other members of the band, on an individual basis or whatever. So, either way, look forward to original music. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be doing.
Awesome. These guys, y'all are amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all are amazing, man.
So Shaping the Legacy back in 2017, we were offered. So we were signed to Legend Recordings out of Ohio, and they're starting to do more and more stuff. Chris Bianchi, what's up, homie? So we were signed to them, and we got this offer from them to go on the road for 7 weeks with this band called The Convalescents, and they're actually from Ohio too. And so we were like scrambling, and we had to get this new van, and it was just an absolute shit show. But so we get the new van. I found it from some people up in like Round Rock above Austin or whatever, and it was an old van, but you can tell they took care of it. They probably took kids to church in it or some shit. You know what I mean? And
It changed the vibe a little bit.
yeah.
The van with cocaine hit the van. It was like, thank God, bro.
The band's like, this is what I was made for.
You know how many times I've heard that song, Hallelujah?
Oh my god, dude. I brought the acoustic too, dude. We could do some kumbaya. You know what I mean? Dude,
Bust out the bonfire.
Yeah, dude. I'll figure it out.
Enough of this beers and shit.
Hey, cheers to that shit, man. What the fuck? Hey. Excuse me. So anyway,
You guys score the van. You guys
I get the van. A fan lent me $3,000.
Wow,
Jessica, I
nice.
love you. To make this happen, which is just, it was like, wow.
Cool.
So get the van from this guy. He's real nice, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, hope this works. So our first tour date is up in Ohio. So we had to drive from San Antonio, Texas to Toledo, Ohio, and
There we
fucking
go.
play this fucking venue, and it was a cool show and stuff. It was encouraging, We play a couple more shows or whatever, and then we get into I'll just call it Timbuktu, fucking Wisconsin, It's fucking Timbuktu,
Might as well be.
Yeah, and so we're out there, and we break down. And what was that?
That was hand signal for, can you get me a beer?
Oh, shit. Oh, nice.
No, not shit, just a beer.
Which one do we need?
Give me one of them green guys. I think
The
that's
Rolling
what we
Rock. Oh, that one's on the top. You'll live.
He don't care.
When I go like, they just get
Pete's an
All
animal.
right. This is the heroin.
Just
one.
put it in his bowl, man.
So we fucking break down in the middle of fucking basically nowhere in Wisconsin, and it's our transmission, and we're stranded there for 2 fucking days. We're fucking smelly, we're sitting in a park and ride, you know what I mean?
Marinating.
Just, you have no idea,
Swamp
bro.
ass soup nuts, the
Dude,
worst.
oh my god, like the sides of my, oh god.
The black
dude.
pants,
There was like
white
some,
stains on the black jeans.
oh my god, dude. So
Bad.
we're just defeated, we're like, man, we finally get this opportunity to go on this long tour and really get the fuck out there, see the whole country,
That's fucking cool.
And I had to get this money to get this van, and at the last minute, I mean, we had a few days before we had to
miracles
leave.
mixed in with that.
Yeah, so
Badass.
so and then we break down, of course, and we're like, and we knew that it was something really catastrophic, right? So after like at least a full day and a half, basically we're just gonna call it 2 days of sitting in a fucking van in a parking lot. We're like, we have to start a GoFundMe. We have to, like, because we had to get a new transmission. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're in the middle. So here's what happens. So we set up a GoFundMe at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're like, all right, dude, we set like a $2,000 budget, and we went to sleep, and you don't sleep for long hours in a van, let's be honest. So we woke up about 4 hours later, 7:30 in the morning. We had like $2,300 on the fucking
Nice, dude.
like
awesome.
that, dude. I mean, and we couldn't seriously. I mean, to this day, it's actually giving me chills saying
The
it.
beers and shit might have to do something like that.
Yeah, dude.
Y'all want some production quality?
Here's where the
Pitch in, damn it.
The beer comes into play. The fact that we had no way of getting beer. We were beerless, unfortunately.
Just to make matters worse.
Yes,
huh?
we're totally beerless, totally fucking defeated. But hey, so we get, all this money in 4 hours or so. From people around the world, it was incredible.
That is insane.
So we call up. Thankfully we were in Wisconsin, and I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we were 300 miles away, which is much better than it could have been, right?
Yeah.
So I call up a buddy. He calls up another buddy. Long story short, he fucking gives us a 600-mile tow. So he drove 300 miles to us, put us on the back of his flatbed with the whole van and trailer shit, and then we drove 300 miles back
So
to
you
the
guys
Twin
just riding
Cities.
back there like drinking beer?
We're all
cool,
there's
man.
all of us tucked into the cabin of the tow truck. For 300.
Oh, no.
300 fucking. You can't ride.
God, I can smell your dick from here.
No
That's
shit.
awful.
So-
Not
yeah.
to butt with the buddies, huh? I don't
man.
love you no more.
Oh my god, dude! I mean, we were
There's
already
no
intimate
back, man.
with each other before then, basically, man. Not literally, but you know what I mean.
Hey,
Yeah.
I could recognize individual smells, so I guess I'll just put it that way, all right? So we get towed, fucking. It's a 600. That dude
You
had to
have to
drive
register, that's that
600
dude.
miles, bro. And so, one little caveat is we get 10 minutes. I'm talking the GPS at 10 minutes away from our location. We got pulled over. The driver got a ticket. 10 minutes 10 minutes left of a 300-mile drive.
Get
and
outta
and we
here,
got we got pulled over, and he got a ticket that we thought we were gonna have to pay for.
just some icing on the shit cake.
Luckily, he got
huh?
it thrown out. But we get to the Twin Cities where I'm from, okay?
Oh, nice.
I got all my
Hey.
family there, all my friends, you know what I mean? I grew up there, lived there for 25 years,
Well, you're
you know?
practically home.
It was absolutely home, 100%, you know? So, my cousin Mike, love you, man, he is like a master mechanic, and he did this fucking transmission work. We had to replace our transmission, not just I think we had it rebuilt. So we had to take it to this place, have it rebuilt, then he put it in for us. So we drive away, and we're having issues.
Oh,
We have to drive back,
killing me, Joe.
stay there for another day. We're already stranded there for a whole week, okay? 7 or 8 days, okay? Missing all these shows on the fucking tour.
This is what touring's gonna be like.
Oh yeah, okay. All right. So we finally get it
We're
fully.
checking our transmission.
Yeah, dude, oh my god, dude, seriously, like you can't fuck around. So we get it fully fixed, and then all right, we need to make it all the way from Minneapolis, Minnesota, to I think it was Tacoma, Washington. Okay, so we drove 24 hours straight, no stopping other than for gas, literally. I mean, we wouldn't even, it was like, if you're hungry and you don't have anything to eat, you better buy something right now, a little fucking sandwich. As soon as this gas is done pumping, we're fucking leaving. You know?
Yeah.
Take your shit, do whatever you gotta do.
Go, man. Let's
if you don't
go.
get it done,
Yeah.
fuck you. We're fucking leaving.
Move it.
You know?
Move it.
So,
Move it. Yeah, it's business.
tried 24 hours straight, missed that fucking show by about 2 hours.
Oh, man.
And then we're like, okay, you know what? At least we're back on the road, right? You know, the next show's in Seattle. We're so stoked to
Gotta
go to
keep
Seattle.
your head up, right? You're
Yeah,
like,
you know,
"Oh,
we
God,
just
bro,
missed
don't
like
be
8 or
sad."
9 shows in a row. Fuck it. You know, let's go to Seattle. Let's fucking get back on track. We are about 20 minutes outside of Seattle, and we break down again. We have to call. We're on a mountain highway in the pouring rain. It's 40 degrees out. Semis blowing past us so fucking close that the whole fucking van is rocking. We fucking go, we get towed. We go into the city. The label gets us a hotel room. We wake up the next day. We walk down to the fucking city to fucking talk to a mechanic, right? And figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with this van. Well, we Googled the spot. We walk past, down to where it's supposed to be, and it says, it's 3 blocks back that way. We moved. We're like, dude, every single possible fucking thing that could go wrong has gone wrong at this point.
Just
Of course,
happening.
we
Please
Google
don't
the first, we go to the first place.
It's all right, dog.
You know what I mean? and we get to the place, and the window says we moved 3 blocks that way that we just came from. We're
Oh,
like,
shit.
wow. But on our way there, we passed by this place called Stingray Auto. And one of the dudes had said, why don't we just go there? I was like, dude, we'll just go to the place that we Googled and fucking whatever. So we start walking back the direction we just came from, and we're like, let's just go to this place, Stingray Auto. So we walk in, and we got
Corvette place?
actually no, it's just like a little small auto body spot,
Stingray?
and right in the middle of downtown. I mean, you can see the fucking Space Needle right from there. I mean, it's like fucking
Someone
right
that
there.
knows how to fix your shit
Yeah,
works there.
yeah.
So you're like, okay.
So
that's where it is.
I walk in there, we walk in there, whatever, and eventually I'm just sitting in the waiting room, and the guy that's working at the counter, I'm just venting to him. I'm like, dude, we had this opportunity to go on this long tour, and we've broken down 3 times already,
Well, kinda,
and
like,
we had to raise all this money.
The
and
old church van wasn't holding up.
It was not, dude. Yeah.
Live your dreams, you don't it. Just little rocky.
Yeah,
there.
we're almost to the end of this, I promise.
Well,
All right.
sure.
So I'm just venting to this guy, because I just needed to get it off my chest, dude. I was just more defeated.
It sounds like hell on earth.
Oh, it was
man.
so
Yeah,
bad.
Like you're
dude.
talking
Yeah.
about it, and I'm
The
kind of
tour itself was
Living
called
it?
the This Is Hell tour.
Oh, man.
I'm not even kidding. That was the name
the
of their
universe
album.
is like, oh, you want to play music? Here you go.
Yeah, sit and spin, bitch. Yeah. So after all this on the This Is Hell tour, hilariously enough, I'm venting to this fucking guy working the counter, and I'm like, just in my head, I'm barely even looking at the guy. I'm just looking at the fucking floor, defeated. And some time goes by, and eventually we find out that he's the owner of the shop. And he just so happened to be working the front counter that day because the counter girl called in sick or something.
Hey,
And so he walks up to me like an hour or 2 hours,
silver lining.
2 hours later, and he goes, he's like, hey, so, I think we, the guys and I have figured out the problem, and, we're gonna take care of it for you. And at the time, it's like I knew what he meant, but I was so, after everything that had gone wrong up to that point, I mean, literally anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I mean, no
It's
exaggeration.
like, all right, I'll wait for the $1 billion bill. Just
Yeah. And so
Gotta get home or
I was
something.
like, I think this dude has just told me that he's gonna do this for free.
take care of it, yeah.
And I
You're
literally
almost
just,
so scared to take that.
I
blessing,
I was
you're
like, no, I didn't
yeah,
believe it. I
whatever,
like
man,
blocked
I'll
it
wait
out of
for
my
the
head. I was
bill.
like, no, there is no way that is what's happening. But sure enough, like eventually he talks to us again, and he was like, yeah, we for sure figured it out, and we're gonna do this whole thing free of charge.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
So Stingray Auto for all you bands on
Yeah,
tour.
Stingray
Here's
Auto.
Stingray
Yeah,
Auto.
huge
It
shout out
sounds
to
like
them,
those guys.
huh?
are some
Right,
angels
down-
over there, man.
downtown
They're
Seattle.
keeping rock and roll and metal on the road, I guess.
Downtown Seattle, Washington. So, and I know this was a
Seattle's pretty
long-winded
rock and roll.
story, but we've reached the end of the journey of this story, you
That
guys.
sounds like an awful
So-
hell and back journey.
Yeah, well, this is actually, I hope this inspires people.
That was
in a
hell.
way. Yeah, it was. But, we, so this place, Stingray Auto, did not charge us 1 cent. Not for labor, not for parts. They even let us park the van in their fucking parking lot and didn't charge us any lot fees. Not a fucking cent did we pay for that. And they got us back on the road. And the guy, whose name unfortunately is escaping me right now, who owns the shop, he told me the main reason why he did that for us was because him and his wife started Stingray Auto. And they were like, we're going to give this 1 year. And if we don't turn a decent profit or we're failing at that 1 year point, then that's it. We're just going to say, we tried, we failed, or whatever. 2 weeks before they closed down, a woman from Groupon walks in there, and she's like, hey, I work with Groupon, blah, blah, blah. And they did an oil change special through Groupon. And they got something in the order of like 3,000 oil changes.
Joe, this is Beers and Shit.
From 3,000 oil changes, and now they make over $1 million net a year.
Holy wow!
And literally, the hairs on my arm are standing up. Yeah,
I don't know. Camera's pretty high dep, but
yeah,
he's spiky, bro.
So
his spidey sense.
Yeah,
going nuts.
it's just
that's awesome. So someone gave them basically like a. Right before you're about to quit,
that Groupon lady was to him who he was to us.
That's great, man. That's
eventually
that's a feel-good fucking story right there.
So
that's awesome.
I know that's not probably necessarily the story you're looking for, and there was no beer involved because we couldn't afford it. But you know what? We did 2 fundraisers on that tour and raised nearly $4,000. Yeah,
I'm sure you were thinking about beers the entire time.
Oh my god, dude!
beers were in your heart.
They were on the mind. Yeah,
tired of living in the past.
It was insane, dude. But
That's
that's the sort of thing that these people like us go through, in order to live a dream and to do the things that they enjoy in life, man.
Man.
You know what? As much as it absolutely was the most defeating thing in my entire life, and it sucked at the time
and that's
so hard.
Fast forwarded, like you actually had to live through every second of that, and people don't grasp that. Like,
imagine sleeping in a van for 2 days in a parking lot because you can't go anywhere. You don't have the money. Like, you have just enough money to barely feed yourself. So you're like, I'm gonna run out of money to even feed myself. Yeah, it's just the most defeating, weak point that you can be at.
Very discouraging. I imagine. Okay.
But you know what? But I emerged on the other side, and now I have a really crazy and even triumphant story to tell.
You got to keep going, man. Otherwise, you won't get to see the other side of that hill or downhill.
Yeah, it's
peaks and valleys.
Yeah. So I know that was a really long story,
awesome.
but
That's
dude,
awesome.
it's just
we got time to kill. We got beers and shit to drink.
Hey, that's
water beers, I guess.
Water beers. Yeah.
So look, I got a question for you. In Minneapolis, so you've only been here, San Antonio, for about 8 years.
Yeah, just shy of that. Yeah.
So were you playing music back in Minneapolis?
I was in this band called Perception of Intent, and we, I formed that band, and God, it's another crazy story, but I'll keep that down to just the reason that I'm in Texas is actually because of that band. So we found a singer on YouTube that was doing covers, and he lived in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And when we hit him up, he was like, I want to be a part of the band. And so he started flying from San Antonio to Minneapolis to play shows and record. Yeah. The whole reason that I live in San Antonio, Texas, because he would fly back and forth from here to there, do shows, do photo shoots, do the recording, all that. Band lasted about 2 years like that. We did some sick shows, like after the Burial's In Dreams CD release show. We were like the second opener on that. Hometown heroes of mine from up there in Minnesota. We opened up Summer Slaughter tour back then, and
I worked Summer Slaughter at the White Rabbit. All the low key bands or whatever had to play on the same drum set. I saw them just set up.
Yeah.
It was one Summer Slaughter drum set. It was a nice looking kit, but they just set up because I remember that Upon a Burning Body fucking played when I worked for Summer Slaughter that year. Dude, that was such a long time ago.
So the drummer of Perception of Intent is one of the original drummers from Upon a Burning Body. Not Perception of Intent, of Shaping the Legacy, I'm sorry. Yeah, of my most recent band, I guess, Shaping the Legacy, Juan Hinojosa. Everybody knows him as PB or Peanut Butter. So I have a very direct connection. I'm actually in another band nowadays, I guess, or working with another band called Terror Universal, which the bass player of that band was Sal Dominguez, or is Sal Dominguez, who was the guitarist of Upon a Burning Body
That's
for 10
sick
years.
as fuck, dude.
You know, so, you know, I have a very strong connection to those guys.
A member from El Nino?
Yeah, the drummer of El Nino, Dave Shivari, is the drummer of that band. It's his baby, Terra Universal, and
some pretty powerful.
I mean, it was
the
band was founded by members of El Nino, Machine Head. You know, I mean, it was like some,
wild.
you know, Soulfly. Yeah,
I worked the show for them too, actually, way back in the day.
Soulfly, man.
Yeah, Soulfly.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you know, I've been very, very fortunate. I guess you could call it that. You know, just good fortune, and I mean, obviously hard work. You know, but
no
still
doubt.
good fortune, and you know, happenstance situations that have led me to all that. But we were talking about something else before that. I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent. I don't remember what the question was. Even.
This whole show is a tangent.
Well,
Yeah, I guess so.
It pretty much is. Just us rambling and drinking.
Mm-hmm, right.
Something that Paul brought up that I was actually kind of curious about is what's the scene like in Minneapolis?
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Boy, you know, so I would say in Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities, there's a good music scene. Yeah. You know, so
anything, Paul, is probably pretty all right at least.
Yeah, right. So, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, there is a very good music and art scene overall. I would say when it comes to music specifically, it's like pretty good for like a lot of genres, but not great for any genre. You know?
Oh, okay.
You know, so like,
I kind of want to go there now. I like
so
that.
you know, like there's a ton of rock, a ton of metal, a ton of hip hop. Honestly, if you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Rhymesayers label, that, you know, with like Slug, Idea and Abilities, you know, all these other people, you know, that formed right in the Twin Cities. You know,
These guys
what I mean?
are awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, amazing. Yeah, you know.
Check them out.
So you know, the hip hop and rap scene is really good. You know, that's honestly probably stronger than most of the other genres of music up there. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's good. It's definitely worth touring there. I mean, even as like a smaller band, I mean, shit, dude. I mean, I know it was my hometown, but dude, when I went on the first tour of my life with Shaping the Legacy, one of the tour dates was in St. Paul, Minnesota, at Amsterdam Theater, and it was an amazing show. It was amazing. Nick Bloom, fucking killer promoter up there, good buddy, like, you know.
Going on tour would definitely be a fucking little dream come true, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, touring back home,
Shaping the
too.
Legacy.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just touring. It was touring back home and seeing my family and friends and acquaintances, and just to play for a great crowd as like just a small band, and going back home after leaving my whole life behind me. Oh, that's actually what we were talking about before, is that the whole reason I'm down here is because once my band back home dissolved, that singer that lived here the whole time, he was like, hey, we should start a band down here, man. Let's try it out. And so I left my entire life behind me. I had my whole family, all my friends. I had never been to Texas ever.
It takes a pair, man, just to jump in and say, hey, let's
I
take
had
a
never
swing at
even
life.
I had never
Let's
even been
start over.
close to the state of Texas, let alone been in it, let alone lived here.
Yeah,
I had no
good
job lined
choice,
up. I had no family here. I had one friend, and
Damn, man, bold moves. But
I-
sometimes it's fun to do that kind of a thing. Get that
25
little,
years old, dude. Yeah,
that gamble, you know.
That's cool. That's cool.
25
Turn
years
the
old,
page,
man, and I took the leap of faith, and you know, now I'm 33, and I know, like, you know, 8 years is a decent amount of time, but if you really think about it, I uprooted my entire life, my entire sense of stability and
that's
comfort,
intense.
and moved all the way here to good old San Antonio, and now I've had the unparalleled opportunity to work with people who help. I mean, members of Upon a Burning Body, for example, you know, have helped shape the metal scene in this town forever.
Wow, man.
You know, people, you know, Grammy-nominated artists and legendary musicians.
Do you miss the snow, Joe?
Yes, actually, I do.
why? Oh,
Damn, my bones and joints say no, but dude, snowboarding is pretty fun though, I'll say that much.
So-
I can't ski for shit, but
That shit's hard. That shit's hard as fuck. dude.
pizza, French fries.
If you
What the
pizza
fuck
on
you
your
want me
French
to
fry,
do?
you're gonna have a bad time.
Dude, you fucking get some speed
the
on
rules, I like
skis
that.
quick, man. Dude, I tried to ski in Germany, and I'll tell you what, man, that speed picks up fast, and I'm super like,
Dude, it's
fuck
no
this,
joke.
dude.
It's no joke. I
like,
mean, you're just asking to break a fucking ankle.
it
doing
looks
shit,
that
dude.
way.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I do miss the snow actually. I think the winter in Minnesota is incredibly harsh, and we're known for that, you know. But like when that's all you know, it's not as bad. Just like the heat here, it's miserable for me, but for you guys, it's like
true.
You
melts.
Yeah, you deal with it. You know,
Like borderline.
I mean, you're pretty much Canadian.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Basically, I tell people that I moved from southern Canada to northern Mexico.
Yeah, no shit,
You know,
dude.
That's pretty much what you
it
do.
is. Yeah. You know, and
Peter.
yeah, God, do the yeah. So, but yeah, I miss the snow, man. I miss Minnesota, but I absolutely love Texas. And I really, you know, what really makes the place special, I think, a lot of times is the people. And I absolutely love
Do
the
you
people
smoke CBD?
here. I actually don't. I don't smoke any. What the fuck? What's the plant? What? I can't even think of the name of the plant.
Fuck that
indica.
devil's lettuce.
Yeah. You know, I don't do any of that. But you know, as much as I know CBD is a great product, yeah, I'm good. Thank you, sir.
So let's talk about being a teacher, man.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about that.
What is your favorite thing about being a teacher now?
My favorite thing, that actually is a surprisingly easy question for me.
Really?
And it is.
It's probably what keeps you going.
It is, and what it is inspiring people. That's my favorite part of being a teacher. Man.
Certainly done your job with me.
It sounds kind of corny, almost. You know what I mean, or maybe a little cliche, but it's one of those things that I didn't quite. I knew that it was going to be a part of what I signed up for, but I didn't realize it was going to be so impactful.
How good it would feel when somebody learned something because you showed it to them.
On my way here, for example, so I wrote an entire song with one of my students in Seattle. So already it's
That's
like
cool.
so cool that I have a student
is really cool.
in Seattle, and I like to help apply what we've learned. Let's write a song. Wrote an entire song from start to finish, all the guitars, drums, whatever. Well, so Trevor and Fred, they're both friends that, the one, he moved to Houston, but they're all the Seattle guys, right? On my way here to this interview, they called me up on a, group video chat, and they were like, hey, so we have this surprise for you. I had no clue what the fuck they were going to do. They took the song that I wrote with Fred, and they tracked vocals over it, and made it a complete song. And it was just like, hey, surprise, like, here's this song that you wrote with one of your students,
So you're getting
and now your other student, like, did vocals on it, and had a blast, and it was a learning
It's like
experience.
a compilation of your students. That's badass.
So I just got to listen to a song that I wrote with two of my students now, and they're from across the country, and it was like, wow.
And really, you just know how good that feels for them too. Like, you gave them this opportunity to make that kind of happen.
Well, absolutely, yes. And the thing is too, and I don't want this to come off as like boastful or self-aggrandizing,
well, no, I mean,
but like
what it is.
they look up to some of the things that I've been able to accomplish. They see me.
There's nothing wrong with being proud of.
Yeah, I mean, they look at me and like, dude, we're getting to write music with this guy who has toured with some of their favorite bands, some of my favorite fucking bands. You know what I mean? I did the entire Summer Slaughter 2018 tour, playing guitar for Terror Universal. I mean, and I got to tour for 6 weeks with Between the Buried and Me, Era, Veil of Maya, Born of Osiris. I mean, fucking Entheos.
Two bands that I definitely hear influence from when I listen to the music that we're hearing right now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so my biggest influences and idols and stuff, I got to tour.
Called that.
Yeah, I have 4 bands written down here. As soon as I heard your music here.
Era is usually number 1, which it should be.
Era?
Yeah, Era was my number 1 influence for the music on this album.
Cool,
that song,
man.
Skyline, was fucking sweet.
Oh yeah, love it.
But I ended up putting
Those guys are
down
homies.
Born of Osiris, Kill
Switch is my favorite band of all time,
dude.
actually. So
Those are 2 of my questions.
And then August Burns
cool.
Red and Veil of Maya. I mean, those are. I was like, dude.
yeah. So
Powerhouse
every
right there.
every single one of those is I mean, maybe with the exception of August Burns Red, even though I think that they're a fantastic band, as far as influences go, all of them had an influence on me. Killswitch Engage, in fact, would be the number one influence of all time for me. My favorite band of all time.
Well, so I have another question to kind of tie into that. Go ahead.
Really, the drumming that gave me that August Burns Red vibe, and you're obviously on the guitar.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He may be a little ABR like driven, you know.
I could definitely
I
see
stand by
that.
my decisions.
Well, so how did you start? So this is a question that's going to tie into another question. How did you start playing guitar, or why did you start playing guitar?
Well, I guess
day one.
Well, I
You remember day one.
So I remember day one was actually me playing bass guitar. Actually, this is the first tattoo I ever got. It was this one right here, the bass clef on my arm.
Show it to the people.
You know? Yeah, you can see it. It looks like a sad face if I do this. Yeah, so... Oh, yes. Hey, man, I like the way this guy thinks. So, so I started on bass, and I really... I always loved music. You know, I just loved it, and I just think it was one of those things like where it was just kind of within me.
That's kind of rare for a bassist to jump into guitar. I've known a lot of bassists most of my life.
I was a bass player that went into drums.
That I could definitely
I stayed in
see.
the rhythm section.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah.
Into guitar.
So what really sparked my desire to want to play music of some kind was that I was listening to the greatest hits from Black Sabbath, and I would hear Geezer Butler.
Our bassist is going nuts right
Geezer
now.
Butler. No, fuck yeah, man. Geezer Butler, I just absolutely fucking loved it. I would listen to, I was huge into, like Korn and their album Issues. Fieldy was rocking it on the bass. Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was a huge inspiration to me. So it was like all these bass players, for whatever reason, became bigger influences to me than a lot of the guitar players I knew. And so I started playing bass really young, and I just bought a fucking bass from a pawn shop with money I got from my birthday or something, and I just started teaching myself to play, and I played for like 8 years. And then after that, I had been dabbling in guitar. I didn't own one until I was 20 years old.
Wait, how old were you when you bought the pawn shop bass?
I was 12.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even ever dabble with time.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
So,
Keep it
So I was 12 years old, man, and I just kept playing for 8 years and taught myself how to do it somehow. And I was like,
Well, do you remember your first song on the bass that you learned? Or riff? Give me a chunk of riff.
I think the first thing that I learned on bass was oh my god, it was from Black Sabbath. It was fucking Geezer Butler. It was
that was a fun one.
It's not Sweetly. Is it Warp?
No, Sweetly. That was
NIB.
Yeah.
NIB was the first thing.
Sweet Leaf is a good one though. I learned that on bass. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So NIB from Black Sabbath is the first thing I ever learned on an
that bass riff is. I mean, when that song just comes on and you hear that does kind of hit. It's just, to this day, it's just.
I mean, it's just a phenomenal, just unique head of the game thing, that from Black Sabbath. And after that, honestly, one of the early things that I learned was "I'm Broken" from Pantera.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That one kicks ass, dude.
I learned that when I was 12. Sorry, I love you.
There's a reason
I love you.
You're my teacher.
Yeah. But no, man. I mean, really. And the funny thing is that even though I started on bass, funny enough, my biggest inspiration that actually I think all along made me want to play guitar was Dimebag Darrell.
Oh, there we go.
He is to this day. I remember when I was 16 years old. I remember the exact moment I was working at a grocery store, and I fucking went on break, and I picked up the newspaper, and I saw the article that he had been shot and killed, and I couldn't believe it. It was like one of the worst things for me, because he. To this day, his music and his playing ability and his uniqueness is
Texas,
forever
man.
stamped.
The tasteful
the
way
Texan,
the guitar touch of Texas.
I remember the first time I ever heard "Walk." Like I specifically, you know what I mean? That's just.
he was a musical
so
genius. You know, to me, like, I mean, I know, like, people like to throw that around a lot these days, I feel, but Dimebag Darrell, to me, was a literal, real musical genius.
Yeah.
I mean, because not only was he incredibly talented and proficient in his playing, I mean, God, you hear him live and it was like better than what he fucking played on the fucking album.
Live?
I never saw him live. I'm so sad that I never
just like
got
you're
to.
talking about
But I've seen
performances and
videos.
shit,
Yeah, you know.
No, can you imagine like being that guy against the fence and Dimebag Darrell's over here?
It is
it just seems-
amazing when you go see a band and they perform the way you kind of hear on the album, and it really
Oh,
lives
God,
up
I
to
mean, you
that.
You can hear
like-
the blues in his licks, but
No
it's
doubt.
fucking cranked to shit.
He
like,
just made the most
love
unique
those
and
guys.
beautiful blend of blues and metal and rock and what I mean, just
little
kind
Stevie Ray
of,
Vaughan and those metal licks, man.
you know, even weird, you know, maybe even classical ideas that he had. You know, I mean, he was just. I just genuinely think he was a musical genius, and again, it wasn't just because of his technical proficiency, but it was because of his compositional skills. You know, I mean, even something as simple as "Walk." I mean, think about how simple that song
No
really
doubt.
is overall, like rip-wise, but he turned that into a hit, a metal hit at
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? A chart-topping hit by doing a chromatic fucking walk down.
Well, he definitely got the hook
You know.
right for that one.
Yeah, but then, you know what?
Part.
He-
That's an ass
He
kickery.
showed, I mean, the solo in that song is fucking
Melts your
fantastic.
face off.
You know what I mean? And that's, he just roped you in with that. So, you know, Dimebag Darrell, man, you know, fucking rest his soul or whatever you want to say, I mean, was the absolute #1 inspiration to me in my life for playing guitar. Even though I didn't adopt a ton of his technique and style, I wanted to be like him, you know? And to this day, I mean, you know, I will always cite him as, you know, my number
I
one
totally
inspiration.
Get that. Yeah. Tommy Lee was kind of like, when watching him play drums was like, man, you know, he was the first drummer I ever saw kind of bring drums to more of the forefront. It wasn't just like, it's like, that's one of the few
in
bands.
the pocket 80s drumming.
Yeah, it's like one of the few bands where people know the drummer's name and stuff like that. So it gave me this whole new like view of like, you can do that. You can be the beat master back there and
You gotta be a lead drummer, dude.
Yeah,
lead drummer, right?
I remember Tommy Lee just kind of blew my mind with the way that he just fucking got back there, he slammed on the drums and still made himself kind of a presence at the top of the band. Like, they were all kind of like that, but but then on the same token, I don't necessarily play like Tommy Lee because I'm playing in a much heavier band. So it's like, that was inspiration, but...
Right, exactly. And that's how inspiration's supposed to work, though, isn't it?
Well, also, what about these jams? Do we need to take an intermission or what? I don't want to lose anything we've talked about.
Oh,
We've been talking over like other people's music for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be
know,
quiet
man.
enough that the algorithms won't pick it
Maybe
up.
the
I
other
don't
bands
know.
will vouch for us and be really cool.
Yeah.
Wage War.
Thanks in advance.
A couple of those guys. I know Wage War played while we were talking. Fuck, I don't know who else.
Yeah.
So
I love you guys. That's why you're all on my YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Hey, come on, man. We're just being fans. So I do want to ask you, what's the plan for the future now? Where do you see yourself going here?
Well, I'm not entirely sure how much I can really talk about.
Hey, don't. If you have some stuff under wraps.
Well, yeah.
And, hey, who can predict the future?
Yeah. So I mean,
Get attacked by zombies at this moment.
right? Yeah. No shit, man.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You saw 2020. You were
Yeah,
winning
no
the joke.
Shit. No shit. But what I will say is that I'm still, as of now, I'm still working with Terror Universal, and they're working. We've worked on new music, and we're
That's exciting.
we're
exciting.
trying to get hopefully touring by next summer. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I know that that's in the works and stuff, but so there's that stuff, and then. As far as anything else, I mean, just a ton of writing. Both original music for myself with friends, and doing covers. I have a bunch of cover songs that I've already recorded and even filmed. Just fun.
That's
Honestly,
cool.
man. I mean, like, it's just having fun. And trying to stay afloat. Try to get as many students and clients as I can, all the while just trying to. Do these covers or do these other projects of original music, whether it be with other people or be, like kind of my own thing or whatever, you know, just kind of keep the ball rolling in many different on many different avenues.
Yeah, you kind of have to. It's a hustler game, definitely. This isn't just, you know, clock in at 9, get out at 5.
Yeah,
do your thing.
Yeah, you just go
you
with the
have
flow.
to apply your creativity to your business and how you make things come towards you.
You do, and actually a big part of, I mean, other than the fun of it, the big part of why I'm doing like cover songs with videos and things like that is that not only is it great exposure, it's so much fun, and I can show a different facet of my creativity.
Yeah.
You know, putting your own spin on a cover song, it takes a lot of creativity, or maybe not a lot, but depending on what you do. But you know, it challenges your creativity. You know, and I think anytime you challenge your creativity, whether it be on a minor level or on a massive level, is still a learning experience. It's still valid, and it's still very much so worth your time. You know, so that's,
you know, the
that's
guy on the
doing.
right that's always telling you to clock into your 9 to 5. He's always working. When he's down to work, he gets up on time. He deals with his boss's bullshit. You know, you got to have that right. But your left creative side finds a way to kind of help that guy take a breather, you know?
Yes, it totally does.
Creativity will save you from slaving yourself into the goddamn ground.
Well,
God
and
knows.
You're absolutely right. And you know what, doing like things like these covers, for example, that I keep bringing up, it takes your brain, your creative side of your mind into a realm that it would never naturally go in. You know, because every single one of us in this room has a different model of creativity. You know what I mean? Like what he would write, you know, like if you were given the same template of something, you know, to write on top of, for example.
We do that.
He would write something different. He would write every single one of us would do something. Let's say we all play the same instrument, and we were given a backing track. Write a 20-minute, or excuse me, a 20-second solo. Not 20 minutes.
Increase the
Right, Stairway to Heaven.
Freebird that shit, dude.
Freebird that
shit. No, dude, like, you know, but like if you were given a template, a backing track, and you know, let's say we all played just guitar, right? So, you know, if you gave that template to you, Cole, you, Paul, you, whatever your name is. God
damn.
Hey,
he's been
doing
self-esteem's already fucked,
I've had a few drinks,
You better
okay?
remember his name right now.
Hey, you know it's bad.
I love you, Pete.
Now the fucking bass player.
Right? Yeah, shit, dude. Yeah, see, but I started out as a bass player, dog. What can I say, man? You know,
The three of us were all bass players.
Yeah,
Fuck
dude.
this guy,
Forgets
right?
the student's name. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry to roast you on your own show, bro. It's no, but dude,
We'll
you know,
just edit that shit out.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Delete.
The whole thing, yeah. But you know, if you gave the same backing track template to every single one of us, and we all had to write a guitar solo on top of it, it would be completely and utterly different from each person. There may be a few fleeting moments where, you know, we have some somewhat similar technique, or, you know, we hit a couple of the same notes, obviously, but the way it is creatively constructed is going to be completely different, no matter how hard we try. I mean, how do you try to
You have a
copy
bit of
something?
your voice with your guitar and your solos and your writing.
Yeah,
You're almost talking through notes.
You are.
You're communicating.
You are, dude. Music is a language, and then when people say that, it's not like just some like hippy dippy fucking, you know, like you know, like me being him. Music is a fucking language, bro. You know, no, it's not that. Like,
Say
it
I
literally.
love you in guitar. You can say fuck you in guitar. You can
Well,
say anything you want.
Think about this.
That's
too.
an art form like any other, you know what I mean? A painting will give you some sort of invoke emotion.
Exactly.
Or, you know,
Expression.
It conveys emotions, right? And ideas and concepts, you know. But like, if you think about music, it especially could be analogous to a language. It is analogous to a language because.
So what you're telling you're going to teach me more words, is what you're saying. Right?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I want to learn how to
This is
say.
beers and shit, not English class.
I want to say fuck you in multiple different ways.
But you know what? He is right though, in that if you think about music, what do we use to describe the notes that compose music? They're described by letters, right? We combine letters
That's cool.
to create words, essentially, which could be either chords or melodies, and then we combine either chords or melodies or both, which are words, and create statements
Will you teach me
out
how
of
to
them.
play
You know,
F-
sentences, if you will.
U C? That's all our music is, right?
Yeah,
heavy
that
shit.
U minor, dude, is
If only
super
we had
sick.
all the other names. Maybe we should kind of.
But I mean, but on top of that, though, I mean, if I could go even deeper into this, not only do we use letters to construct words, and then we use words to construct statements, and sentences in music, and then you could call those you turn that into a paragraph, which is a song. It's also we use phrasing in music. We use articulation in music, just like we do in language. We use rhythm in language, just as we do in music.
Definitely.
I mean, do I need to go any further?
No,
I mean,
no,
phrasing,
it's fair.
articulation, rhythm.
There's a science behind it.
cadences. To say that it isn't
you
a
made fun
language
of
is
the
incorrect.
hippie left brain earlier, but remember who he saves. He saves the right. Is that right, Will?
But music is absolutely a language, and part of the reason why I always try to get my students to understand the absolute basics and up through some at least somewhat advanced music theory is because it's like learning the language of music. And if you want to express sadness, if you want to express tension, if you want to express anger, if you want to express confusion,
Minors and majors.
you know what I mean? You have to learn the language before you can express yourself.
Perfect.
Crawl before you can walk.
So, to anybody out there, I'm going to look at the camera. To anybody out there who has of the mindset of learning music theory is going to somehow put you in some box, that is absolutely 100% not true. It will take your brain into a realm that you never even knew existed. So do not limit yourself. Just like if you wanted to gain more knowledge, you would probably read more books.
It's not going to be harmful to increase your knowledge, Joe. Are you sure? Have you done studies?
Is
on
it
this?
bad to learn?
Yep, I've done studies, independent studies with my students. Yeah, here's my
notes
subject right here.
Guinea pig.
Yeah, independent. But yeah, dude. So don't. I guess the premise of what I'm saying is that music is absolutely a language. You need to learn the language before you can properly express yourself, and the more you learn about it, the more doors are going to open for you. So do it. Don't hold yourself back. If you think that music theory is going to hold you back, you're wrong.
Goddamn right. Joe, I think that is a perfect stopping point for our show today, man. Thank you so much for being on. Hope you had a good time.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to do more shots with you guys.
Behind the scenes shit.
Yeah.
Go see that on Instagram. Subscribe. Let it burn. Hey.
Thank you guys.